Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Wow, I have something really special for you. It's really easy and it's something that you can just learn once and then it's a continued repetition. Depends how many you want to do as a gift, and then you can always prepare them on a package and give it to somebody to use them during these holidays, or it's a way to learn new stitches and then you can adjust that for future projects that are not Christmassy throughout the entire year. We are gonna start as usual with our slip knot. If you have no idea how to do a slip knot, I suggest you go and watch my full tutorial, slowly how to do a slip knot, same like the chains. We're gonna start chaining 6 on this project. There's something you've been asking for and I'm gonna say it right now. Be really careful. That first circly thing that you see, that's not a chain, okay? Is the other one. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? There you go. The other one, if you introduce your hook in there, you're doing it on the slip knot. So it's kind of like you're working one extra chain stitch in there, okay? You're gonna chain 3. Those chain 3 will count as our first double crochet. We're gonna do 1 double crochet. Remember, that was yarn over, introduce it in your circle, pull your yarn. You have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. But today you're gonna learn a new stitch, which is you're gonna chain 2 right now, and we're gonna do 2 double crochet, 2 together. Okay, that is yarn over, introduce it in your circle, pull up. You have 3. Yarn over, pull through 2. Until here, we know this one. Okay, now you don't pull through 2. No, you yarn over again. You introduce it again over your circle. You pull back, you have 4. You yarn over, you pull through 2. You have 3. And then you have 2 stitches there. Can you see? Not yet finished. You're going to yarn over and pull through 3. That is your first double crochets 2 together. I know. It's a new one. Chain 2. And then once more, you're going to do another 2 together, okay? So it's the same repetition. You again do yarn over, insert it, pull up, pass through 2, yarn over, insert it again, pass through 2, yarn over, and pass through 3, okay? Then you chain 2, and you're gonna do this for 6 times. You have to end up with 6 groups like that. And the first one that we did with that chain and double crochet counts as well, okay? Once you finish, you're gonna go to that chain 3. You're gonna count 1, 2, 3. You're gonna go to the first chain on the top and you're gonna do a slip knot. That's how we finish row 1. And then again, as you can see, we have groups there. Those groups, you have to have 6 of them, okay? That represent row 1. Now we're gonna go through row 2 to expand our project. And to do that, right now we are on the space of the chains, right? We don't want to be there. We want to be on the chain space, not on the stitches space. So we are gonna slip knot to the next chain space, and then is when you're gonna do chain 3, and then it's where you're gonna do another double crochet. So we are starting on the same way that we did in the previous row, and that's how we're gonna start in every single row, okay? So pay attention to that one. Now you're gonna chain 2. And on that same space of stitches, you're gonna go and do 2 doubles, 2 together, okay? 2 stitches, 2 together, again, same. So in one space of chains from before, you're gonna end up having 2 group of stitches right now, okay? So we are working on those spaces right now on this row. And then the first one counts as 1, okay? Now how you're gonna repeat the rest is you're gonna be doing 2 doubles together and then chain 2 and then 2 doubles together. So it's different than that first one, okay? You don't have to chain 3 again and then move along, all right? That's the only different you will do. So you will chain 2, you will move to the next chain space, and then again you do 2 doubles, 2 together, chain 2, 2 doubles, 2 together, all over again until you reach the chain 3 where you started at the beginning. And then we're gonna do same as usual. Once you reach that space, what you have to do is you count 1, 2, 3, you come to the top chain of that space, and then you just have to slip knot, and means you have finished the next row. But it's really important that you make sure you are doing the 2 doubles together, chain 2 doubles together, okay? 1, because we are doing increases, and 2, because we have to work later on the chain spaces in between stitches and on the chain spaces in between group of stitches, if that makes any sense to you right now. It might not, but you will see on the next row how we have to work on all those stitches. So please remember that, and don't forget any stitches, and don't forget any steps. Like right now we reach the end, you will have to do 2 chains again, okay? Do not forget those 2 chains before you join with the first chain stitches, because as if you remember previously, we are sliding to the next chain spaces, so everything has to constantly be the same. I'm sorry, but my white yarn is always so tangled. Let's move to the next row, which will be row 3. Row 3, again, we are going to start a really similar way of how we started before, which means we are sliding ourselves, we are slip stitching to the next chain space to start over there. The way to start is the same that has been in every single row, which is chain 3. Chain 3 and 1 double crochet. Exactly, that's what we've done every single row. That's the way to start it, okay? Now, as I mentioned before, we have the spaces of chain in between group of stitches and chains in between stitches. We're gonna work in all of them, but in each of them something different is going to happen, okay? And that's what I need you to pay close attention, so you won't make a mistake and it will make sense, the shapes that you're creating right now. So you're going to chain 2. In that same spaces, you are going to do 2 together, okay? Remember, like that. So somehow we have done again 2 together, but remember the first chains were a little bit different. Now we have to move to the next space. So you're gonna chain 3, and in that big space, in that big chain, you're gonna do 1 slip stitch. We are creating what I like to call the flower shape, okay? So once you create that little bridge, you're gonna chain 3 one more time. Once you have chain 3 one more time, you see the next space is the chain space in between stitches, right? And then after that, we have the chain spaces between group of stitches, okay? What you're gonna do right now is you're gonna work stitches in that in between stitches chain, if that makes much sense of what I'm trying to explain to you. As you can see, it is easier sometimes that how I explain it, but you have to create those little bridges, okay? So right now you have to create 2 together. After the 2 together, you are gonna make 2 chains, and then again you're gonna make 2 together on the same space. So we are again creating a gap in between. That gap in between is where we're gonna work later on the snowflake shape, just to make you understand where we're gonna be on the next one, okay? You chain 3 again, then you slip stitch, and then you chain 3 again, and you're about to do one more time the 2 together, chain 2 together, and you so on going all the way around until you reach the end. So right now we are creating these kind of like little bridges, and they again are going to be, first of all, if you're doing a flower, this is the flower petals, okay? But if you're doing like I am doing the snowflake shape, you are doing the space in between, okay? And the stitches that we are creating are gonna be the snowflake shape later on the next row. Once we reach the end, remember we have start with those chain 3 and everything that count as a stitch. So you're gonna do the same. You have done your slip stitch over there, you're gonna chain 3, and you were supposed to go and do your double crochet. So you're gonna count 1, 2, 3, and on the first chain you are gonna do a slip stitch, and that's how you're connecting one end to another, which is exactly the same, because again those 3 first chains count as that. You're gonna slip stitch to that chain space again, and we're gonna move along to the next row, which means you're gonna chain 3 again, and we are moving to the next row. Okay, that's where we are right now. So what we have to do for the snowflakes, pay attention, because it might be a little bit tricky on the first few times, but it's getting easier. So you've done the chain 3, you have to do 1 double crochet as usual. Now you're gonna chain 1, you're gonna do 2 double crochets 2 together. That's the next one you have to do. Okay, after you do that, you're gonna chain 4. That's the spiky bit on the snowflake. Okay, you're gonna go to that 2 double crochets 2 together that you've done. You're gonna introduce your hook over there, as you can see. You're gonna slip stitch, and that chain 4 has turned up to be the spiky bit of the snowflake. Now you're gonna chain 1 more time. You're gonna do again in the same space. Okay, you are again going to work at 2 together double crochets in that space. Okay, so yes, it's too many stitches in one same gap, but that's what creates the spiky bit of the flake. Now you're gonna chain 3, and then you are going to be in the chain 3 spaces we were in the previous row. Okay, that's where we are right now. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna do 1 single crochet over there. You're gonna chain 3. Okay, that's a really important gap we need for next row. You're gonna again single crochet, and then you are in the next 2 groups as before space, where again you need to create another spiky bit. So what you have to do is you have to chain 3, and then you are gonna move to that space in there. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna create 1 group of 2 double crochets 2 together. Okay, that's what we're doing first, which is what we've done before. Okay, then you're gonna chain 1. You are again going to do 2 double crochets 2 together. Then you're gonna chain 4. You're gonna go down to that 2 together that we've just done. Introduce your hook to create the spiky bit. Okay, it's quite easy to introduce the hook. There's, as you can see, it goes in so smoothly. Slip stitch over there, chain 1, and then again you do another stitch over there, which is 2 double crochets 2 together on that same space. The only difference is that, remember, in the first one we were working with the chains, right? And now no more. So you're gonna chain 3, do a single crochet on the next space, chain 3, do again a single crochet on the next space, chain 3 one more time, and then you are one more time gonna do the spiky bit. So it's again one more time the same. It's 2 double crochets together, chain 1, 2 double crochets 2 together, and the chain 4. Introduce the slip stitch to do the spiky, chain 1, and again 2 double crochets 2 together. So as you can see, it's all a repetition of the same movement over and over again. I always suggest you to pause the video if you have to go back and forth, especially when I do a little bit of a speed up on the video, to pause it. If you get it, you just keep going. You don't have to worry about it. If not, just keep going back and forth. That's why I always like to at least leave 1 or 2 more stitches in slow motion so you can see them because you can't copy the first one you've done, because the first one, remember, we always start with chain 3 and 1 double crochet, and it's slightly different on the next stitches that we are working. But as I say, it's really easy. If you want to learn another way of how to do a snowflake, I have another video where I share with you how to do the snowflake slightly different. So this way I have teach you 2 ways of doing a snowflake. Again, both of them really easily and both of them really beautiful. But it's 2 alternatives that maybe for some of you is slightly easier one way or another. Right now, we could be done if you want to do a snowflake, because we are going to do the red yarn is when we are going to keep going, okay? So once you reach the first row, you are going to change your 3 as usual you're supposed to be doing. You're going to go to your first 3 chains and you're going to put it on the top of the chains. Why? Because that was supposed to be your first chain 2 together if you were doing a continuation, okay? Just to make you aware. What I like to do here is, I was about to cut, which was it was a mistake, but I always suggest you to do 1 extra chain, then you pull a little bit, you cut it, and that's how you're creating a knot in between one color and another, or how you are finishing a project. To introduce the red, just pull with your hook, do a knot, make sure it's quite strong, you pull it again, and then you have it as if you were working. In that same space, you're gonna do 1 single crochet, then you're gonna move to the next stitch space, okay, the next gap that you have, and you're gonna again make another single crochet over there. I'm so sorry, I move a little bit out of angle. Sometimes happen, I don't realize it. And now the next one will be the spiky of the flake. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna chain 3, pass those 3 chains behind the spiky, okay? That's how we're gonna do to let the flake up. And then you're gonna do another slip stitch, sorry, single crochet on the next space. Okay, so the chains stay in the back. You're gonna do another single crochet on the space in between the 2 doubles that we've done before, and then you are on the gap of the chains before. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna do 1 double crochet, then you're gonna do another double crochet. You're not doing 2 together, you're doing 2 double crochets in one same space, okay? It's absolutely different. Do you see now we have 3 bridges of 3 chains from before? Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna do a double crochet 1 more time, and here comes the variation that you're gonna do in this gap. You're gonna do 1 treble. That 1 treble is you pass the yarn over your hook twice, you're gonna go down to row 2, you're gonna pull the yarn, and then you're gonna pass the yarn through 2, yarn over, pass through 2, yarn over, pass through 2. So that's your treble that you have connected with row 2. Push that treble a little bit aside, and in that same space you're again gonna do another double crochet, okay? That's the new variation that we have done that you're gonna repeat again. Then you move to the next chain spaces, and again you are gonna do 2 double crochets on that space, okay? So that's the work that we are doing on all the bridges, let's say in all the chain spaces. Now you are in normal stitches spaces, let's say, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna do 1 single crochet, you move to the next space, you do another single crochet, and then we are gonna chain 3, we pass behind the spiky beads, and then again you're gonna do 2 single crochets on the next spaces before you arrive on the chain space, because you only have 1 stitch in there. That's why you have to work on the 2 together space, okay? That's the difference. And then once more you are arriving on the chain spaces. Remember, you have to do the 2 double crochets, and then we do the special stitches, and then another 2 double crochet. So it's a repetition we're doing in between all the spiky bits. As I say, if you needed to practice it slower, pause the video, go back and forth and re-watch it as many times as you need to until you understand it. The way to don't get lost and don't take the wrong stitches is like, now you have already the reference from row 1. So follow that line and you will know which one is the next gap space you have to work that treble on, if that makes any sense. And it make it easier maybe for you to understand what I'm talking about. So as you see, we were there, so you move, boom, that's your space. Just continue in the circle of where we were working just right before all of this, okay? So as you can see, it's not hard, it's pretty easy, the repetition and everything. I know you're pulling the yarn and it's look quite tight and quite hot, but believe me, it's not that difficult, and you have the guide of the first row. And the good thing is that in this one, from the first stitch that we've done, is all a constant repetition. It's not like the other ones I was saying to you. You need to be careful because we start with the chain 3 and double crochet, and that didn't happen this time. Right now it's just a constant repetition until you reach the end of the row where I'm gonna see you, and then we are gonna close over this first row and we are gonna move to the work of what will be our last row of stitches that is just gonna finish this project in a beautiful way. And again, we arrive on the first one. Here we have like no chain, it's the first stitch, so you go inside the first stitch and you just slip stitch, and there you go, you close that first row. Could you leave it here? Yes, by all means, you can always just leave it like this. Maybe you wanted to do it in a different color and become an ornament, like I teach you in previous videos how to do ornaments. That could be as well an option, but we're gonna do one more row. So what we're gonna do is we are going to slip stitch on the next space and slip stitch until the chain 3. Once we are on the chain 3, that's where we're gonna do a spiky bit to create more of like a spiky corners, okay? So over there, you're first gonna start with the chain 3 as usual. So after chain 3, what you're going to do is you're going to work on that chain space again, okay? Again, we come back to the same as before. Yes, you're doing a little bit different the first row, okay? So you're gonna do 1 double crochet over there. Once you finish with the double crochet, you're gonna chain 3. After you chain 3, you're gonna do the 2 double crochets, not 2 together, 2 double crochets each of them, okay? That's what you're doing on the next one. So we are gonna, in every single chain space, create 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets. That's basically what we are creating right now. And the difference now also it's going to be, you are going to jump stitches, okay? So you're gonna jump the next 2 stitches. Can you see those 2 red stitches? Jump them, and in that space you are gonna make the next stitch, which is 2 double crochets, okay? 2 double crochets, jump the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then in that gap in between, again, you're gonna work 2 double crochets. The only difference, it's gonna be on the next one. That's where you have to pay attention, okay? This is the first few stitches, so that's where you have to think about it. The rest one is gonna be easy. You're gonna jump the 3 stitches. You know you have the treble. Forget about the treble. The treble is like, it doesn't count. So you take all of those 3 stitches and then you work your next 2 stitches to your 2 double crochets on the next space. So those 3 you jump them, and as if there were only 2, okay? So then again you do 2 double crochets, and then again you are on the chain space, and then you do absolutely the same like we did before until the end of the row, which was 2 double crochets, 2 together, and then you do chain 3, 2 double crochets in the same space. Sorry, I said 2 together, no, not 2 together, single ones. Okay, that's what you're doing over and over again until you finish. And when we finish, we are going to do our slip stitch as usual to close this project on the chain 3 that you did at the beginning, and that will be done. I hope I didn't confuse you on the chain spaces. Remember, it was like 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets, and we will be done. I hope you found this tutorial pretty easy. It's not that complicated. Chain 1, when you finish, cut your end, pull your yarn away, and then do a knot to secure the end of your project, and we will be done. It's look a little bit like wobbly, it's not flat, it's not really have a proper shape. Pull a little bit the yarn. I sometimes like to put some heavy weight on top of it to make it flatter, or you can even iron it. I really hope you like these videos. Give us a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to come back for the next one, because I have a lot of more projects coming on your way, and I really appreciate all the support and love that we have had during this December. See you on the next one. Bye.